when you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality? Who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Hi, I'm John Malice. Welcome to this live edition of Connect With Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. On this day, we are live on Connect With Me on MeTV Fresno. Today, we'll be talking to somebody for the Central Valley Center for the Blind. It's been around for many, many decades, my friends. Have you ever heard of it? Do you know about it? You will today. 436 MeTV, option 11. We're back with our program here in just a moment. Back here on the program, we are live today here on a Tuesday morning. It's the focus on business, of course, here on Connect With Me on MeTV Fresno. We had a tape program yesterday. And again, my thanks to John Gibson, Fox News Radio, talking about the presidential run and Donald Trump yesterday. And a programming note for tomorrow, just keep in mind that most of this week we will be talking politics, except for today. And tomorrow is Dennis Hart. He'll be talking about Super Tuesday. 5 states up for grabs today, including Ohio and Florida. We'll see what Donald Trump does there. And who knows, Bernie Sanders might have a chance today at some of these states, too, to keep himself alive in some of these various races and states. He's still far behind, though, in the delegate count. So tomorrow, Dennis Hart, he'll run it all down for us on what happened today. So it'll be a late night tonight into the evening. Another Super Tuesday, my friends. Don't you just love it? Going to go through withdrawals when all this is over. On Thursday, another political candidate who wants your vote for Fresno County Supervisor. In fact, I was mentioning here on the set today, think about this. How many politicians make over $100,000 a year and they work part-time? It's your Fresno County Supervisors. Would you be able to get any one of them on the telephone if you tried? Try it and see and get back to me. 436 MeTV, option 11. He'll be on the program on Thursday, and then on Friday, Peter Nazaridian is going to be here. He is going to be talking about anger management. You like that? You like that one, don't you? Anger management. I think we need it right here on the set on some days when everything goes awry, my friends. So Peter will be here to calm everybody down, and he will give us the proper steps to follow if you have anger issues at home, my friends. 436 MeTV, option 11. You're watching us on Comcast channel 375. As usual, it's Xfinity. And if you don't have Xfinity, don't get angry. Don't take it out on us. You can just get one of those digital antennas and watch us over-the-air broadcast at 43.6 or 13.1, and you'll be all set to go. And then the replay comes later in the day, although last night I checked out the show and it wasn't on. 8 o'clock at 4.6, it wasn't on. Why? Anybody tell me why? I guess nobody can tell me why. 2 o'clock this afternoon, 13.6 YouTube. 8 o'clock tonight, 4.6 Biz TV. Take your chances. I don't know if that's going to be on tonight. Anyway, on YouTube, you don't have to take any chances. It'll be there 24/7. It ends up on our YouTube channel, and you can go back as far back as 4 years ago when we first started this program. Many moons ago, and we're proud to say that we're still going. Thank God, knock on wood, right here. All right, today's program, the Valley Center for the Blind, has been serving people here in the city of Fresno for more than 40 years. Founded by Dr. Andrea Schwartz, who, by the way, is going to be in Fresno, I believe, next week. We'll talk about that during the course of this program today. In the meantime, roll the videotape, show you exactly what I'm talking about. This is a wonderful place. Here's where it's located. The organization that really needs your help, if you can. Number one, because they do wonderful work serving those who cannot see or see only partially. Number two, you may not know it yet, but one day you may need help yourself, because who knows when or if you'll ever lose your eyesight. And number three, they almost went bankrupt, kaput, out of business a little more than 4 years ago. This place was founded back in 1973 for the sole purpose of helping seniors who've lost either part of or all of their vision, because after all, as we all know, it can be a traumatic experience, especially if you were born with eyesight. They still serve those seniors today, helping them with depression, loneliness, and how to manage living on their own. Losing your eyesight doesn't mean that you have to lose all hope, my friends. There is help with the latest technology, smartphones, computers, laptops, iPads, any of the smart devices. And believe it or not, there are those who can use a barcode scanner to help the blind read the ingredients on food labels. We'll talk about that. The center also teaches people how to travel, how to take medications, how to cook, how to clean, and you can go to their center and socialize with many people there. It's good for the heart, it's good for the soul. Just getting out of the house can energize anyone. There is also help for those dealing with anger issues related to blindness, and there is individual counseling available. That's the executive director sitting at his desk. He's done a wonderful job. He is live in our studio right now. Ken Warkentin, the executive director of the Valley Center for the Blind. 436-ME-TV. Option 11. A great program on hand, and you can do a good service by helping out, either with a donation. We'll tell you how. And this organization almost went bankrupt, as I said. They're back on their feet, doing well financially, but they could use more of your help so they could provide more services for those who need the assistance when they come into the center. 436-ME-TV, option 11. Glad you're here. We're back live here on a Tuesday morning.
The following is a list of celebrities you will not see on MeTV programs. Charlie Sheen, Lindsay Lohan, Snooki, Paris Hilton, Perez Hilton, Honey Boo Boo, Justin Bieber, Simon Cowell, Chris Brown, Miley Cyrus, and the Real Housewives of any place. This is who you will see on MeTV programs. Lucy, Ralph, Mary, Perry, Gilligan, Kenner, Spock, Batman, Rowdy, Festus, and the Beaver. MeTV. Thanks for watching.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
All right, we're back here on the program on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno. And you know, we all should be thankful for the tiniest things, the smallest things in life that we take for granted. And that's our eyesight, our smell, all of our senses. Ken Warkentin is here, the executive director for the Valley Center for the Blind. Good to see you, Ken. How are you?
You too, John. I'm fine. Thanks for having me.
Am I right? Do we take our eyesight for granted a lot of times?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We take a lot of stuff that we have going on for granted. No doubt.
It really is amazing. And I mentioned all these things and all these services that you guys provide for the Valley Center for the Blind. We'll get into all of that. One of our viewers, by the way, called me and tipped me off as to the fact that I should have you on as a guest, because she is either partially blind or all blind. She used to watch our show on Comcast. She canceled Comcast. She can't watch our show anymore, so I'm sorry that she can't call in. But you basically brought this, I don't know if single-handedly brought this organization back from the brink financially. Talk about how you did that, because this is the kind of the focus on business today.
Well, I certainly don't want to take all the credit myself, because it's a team effort. But when I first came to Valley Center for the Blind, they had a lot of issues. They were underfunded and needed a lot of help. I was originally asked to be a part of the board because I had business experience. In my past, and I accepted that because knowing that when my daughter lost her eyesight, that I would be a part of a local organization, because it's now part of our lives. And so I accepted that position, and within 6 months found myself as the director without any nonprofit management experience, but it's got a lot to do with nonprofit is run very similar to the way you run a business.
I want to get into the specifics on what you did to get this organization back on its feet, but first I want to talk about your daughter, Shayla, right?
That's correct.
Shayla
yes.
Warkentin, who is going at Fresno State right now. She's a Fresno State student, a wonderful young lady who a few years ago was rear-ended. She was in the car with her sister, I believe.
Correct.
And she was rear-ended by a driver who since has apologized to her, but he was on prescription drugs. It was like 11 o'clock at night. Took place at Maroa and Barstow. You might remember it was well publicized by the Bee, the Fresno Bee. Just look it up online. I did, and I do remember the case now. I guess. Things slip away from me once in a while, and I did not remember the case until I refreshed my memory on the internet last night, but it was well publicized by Channel 30, the Fresno Bee. Her name is Shayla Warkentin, and I want to roll a piece of videotape with sound that shows her in the hospital shortly after the accident, and then Ken can pick up the story after that. Go ahead and roll it.
He loves the hugs. You know how to do that too.
Yeah, you want to hug me too?
Oh,
look at him. He's the cutest thing. He is. Beautiful. Yeah.
He's a champion show dog.
See? Really?
Yeah.
What gave you the ideas to do this?
Well, because I know how much he likes kids.
Oh, that's so cute.
gosh, look how big his nose is.
There you go.
He's right here, just looking at everybody. There, you just pat him there. That's
Oh my gosh, he's so big.
yeah. Very good.
I don't want to scare him.
Oh no.
You're not gonna scare him.
He is so big.
Sweetie, this is what he does. This is what he's
His
trained
ears
for.
right here, big soft
Oh,
ears,
jeez, my God.
very soft face.
Crazy.
Call him Max.
Max. Oh, he's so big, my daddy.
He likes you.
With his big eyes, he's looking at you.
Grandma's getting kisses over there.
Dad says,
Classic picture just now.
What a great shot. That was how many years ago, Ken?
That's 5 years ago. It was probably not quite 5 years ago because she's already talking here. So this is probably, I'm going to say 4 or 5 weeks after the actual day that she was in the accident.
Yeah, I mean, that Great Dane in there offering her love and peace and kindness, and such a sweet dog, even though it was, Great Danes are huge.
Yeah.
They're like horses.
Yeah.
And you don't
Especially
expect a
this one.
dog like that to be that friendly, but obviously it helped your daughter out. And how is she doing now?
She's doing awesome, as far as life goes. Of course, being blind is a very difficult challenge.
How's the adjustment going for her? It's
well-
been several years now. So she's going to Fresno State. Is she able to talk okay, or?
Yeah, she's the only senses that she lost. Well, I say only. We only have 5, right? But
Yeah.
she lost her eyesight fully, and then she lost her sense of smell because her olfactory nerve was demolished.
Yeah.
Which affects 80% of her taste.
Yeah.
So taste, smell, and sight are pretty much gone. So that leaves her hearing and her touch.
Yeah. Talk about what all of this did to your family. Very hard.
Well, yeah, it's it's that phone call you never want to get when one of your children. I have 4 daughters, and Shayla's the third in line, and fortunately for us, we're a family of faith, and we bonded together. We got together a lot, and we helped each other through this. But even to this day, there are still ramifications. When you have 4 children at home, and one suddenly needs a lot of your attention, it can't help but affect the rest. And so, but they understood that. And so, not saying we're perfect, but I'm proud of all my girls.
Yeah, and is she at the point where now she's still living with you at home, but are you preparing her for the day and the time when she's going to be out there alone and living independently?
Absolutely. I've told her that she's always got to a home with me and mom, as long as she ever wants to. But I know that as life goes on, Mr. Right is likely going to come along, and then she'll move out. And if not that, she does have the option of moving out with a girlfriend or independently if she wants, and that's what we'll help train her to do. She probably could get by with that even now, but it can be lonely being blind. There's a lot of people that don't know how to respond to you, how to treat you when you're blind, and so
right.
It's not always desired to be completely on your own.
Yeah, and so with that, I mean, just transition into your position now with the blind. It's a difficult thing, especially for those who were not born blind, that were born with their eyesight and they lose their eyesight later in life, whether it's through diabetes, whether it's through some accident like your daughter or something else. How do you help those make the adjustment that it's so traumatic for most people, for just about everybody, I'd say?
Absolutely, yeah. It's, fortunately for most of the people, losing your eyesight is a gradual occurrence, but nonetheless difficult. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to be there for them just emotionally. So we have a professional counselor and other staff members who in fact the majority of my staff are blind or visually impaired. And there's something about being with other people that are going through the same challenge you are that just adds a lot of comfort and peace. So the first thing we do is we let them know that, it's not the end of the world. When you come to the center and you see what we're doing, and my staff have jobs that I push them at, and I have high standards and high requirements, and they do an awesome job. And so when a person who's lost their sight thinks that life is over, we demonstrate to them that it's not over. You just have to live it a little differently.
I want to show, before I go to break, and we'll come back and talk more about the center, the two full screens that we put together of the accident scene. There are a couple of still photos that we have of the wreck. There's one of them right there. That it was a Mustang that got rear-ended by a truck, right?
Yeah, a Ford F-250, and Shayla was in the back seat sitting behind the driver's side.
Yeah.
And that's what she was in. So the fact that she came out of there alive, I don't know if you want any of the gory details, but
yeah, what happened?
The reason that she lost her sight is she was partially ejected out the rear windshield, and then her seatbelt pulled her back down, and obviously with the glass gone and the roof of the car, the serrated edge of the glass basically caught her just below her nose.
Okay.
And the whip, going forward, it actually peeled back her face, and the car impaled into her skull about 3 inches. Okay. And I sat on the side of the road. They wouldn't let me get near the car because I was there about 5-6 minutes after the accident happened, and for almost an hour I watched the heroes, the first responders, try to figure out how to remove her out of that car.
Yeah.
First on scene. They thought she was deceased already, and so they thought that that's what they were dealing with. But thank God she took a gasp, took a breath, and then they got her out.
Okay, so now we fast forward to today after the accident. That was like 4 years ago, was it?
That was five years ago. March 8th. So
5 years ago. Okay, so that's already taken place, and now she's on the mend and on the go at Fresno State. Shayla Warkentin, of course, and horrible accident. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the Valley Center for the Blind and what it does to help the residents of the Central Valley cope with either partial blindness or full blindness altogether. How do you cope in everyday life? How do you live an independent life if you don't have your eyesight? We are back with more here on Connect with Me in just a moment.
Revin is now on KVHF channel 4.4.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Frigidaire Gallery appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start, but you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an Energy Star qualified French door Frigidaire Gallery refrigerator. Quality appliances for the way you live. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise.
Back here on the program, connect with me on MeTV Fresno. You're watching us live today here on a Tuesday morning. Glad you're here talking about the Valley Center for the Blind. Hey, let's roll a videotape. It's called Computer Training. And I want to talk about this, Ken, because, and we'll get into more of the business aspect. Today is a business day. There's no question about it. We want to help the business as much as we can. But how do you help the blind? I mean, it's a mystery to me how you help the blind operate a computer. And here we are at computer class or whatever it might be at your center there.
Right.
How do you help these people?
Well, a lot of people aren't aware of what's called screen reader programs. And so a screen reader is a piece of software that's been developed to describe to a blind person what you and I see with our eyes. So all the text that is on the screen will be read to the individual.
Out loud?
Out loud, or if they have earphones, because sometimes if they're in a noisy place, these are computerized or synthesized voices, which have increased dramatically over the last few years.
Okay.
The sounding much more humanistic, but they used to sound very robotic, and it definitely takes time getting used to it. But we, first of all, if like in this video here, you see a gentleman who's, he's not a teenager anymore. And
he's partially blind there? Or?
He is fully blind.
Okay.
He's been blind since birth.
Okay.
And we just set up a computer in his house a few weeks ago. And now he's at the center having classes, learning how to, he's got to learn his typing skills because he never had any of this training before.
Can he search the internet? Can he Google anything he wants, just like you and I do?
Absolutely, yes.
He can?
Yes.
Can he get on the Ventura TV broadcasting website with that computer?
Well, what I would say is as long as it's accessible. You hear that word accessibility.
Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes that's a bad word because it's part of the ADA.
Yeah.
But it really helps a person who can't see to be able to hear it. And if a programmer doesn't know how to program for accessibility, then a blind person is unable to get onto that site.
Okay. Caller, you're on the air with the Executive Director of the Valley Center for the Blind.
Yes. I think you guys have missed one segment of the population. I was born in 1946, and I only have one eye. The left eye has no optic nerve. It's gray.
Oh.
Dead.
Okay. Mm.
So, but we technically, by law, we are not legally blind. We have no benefits we can go to, and all our such easy things like a driver's license is denied us. I was denied military time. I was denied the draft, and all this. When are we going to get equal treatment? We are blind.
Stay on the line there, sir. Stay on the line, okay? Can you hang with us?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead and maybe you can answer that question, Ken.
Well, first of all, I'd like to tell the caller that we have programs that it doesn't matter. You don't have to be legally blind in order to qualify for some training. So I would welcome, if you're in our area, please give us a call. Come on by. We'll help you in any way we can. Now, as far as benefits and programs that are government supported, the only government funding that we get is if you are wanting training to return to work. If you're just a blind individual who's at home, well, you can apply for Medi-Cal just like anyone else. There are no special benefits because you're blind.
There are none. There are no government programs to help the blind.
Not if you're a blind person you're under a certain age, like under the age 55. There is no special financing, no special funding available to you.
So even if you're legally blind?
Correct.
It's amazing. And what can you do to help this gentleman here who obviously, so why don't they recognize him as being legally blind considering he only has one eye and there's a problem with that one eye?
Well, the definition of legal blindness is your acuity is 20/200 with correction. So I have, for example, one of my daughters, if she's not wearing her glasses, she's 20/400. Well, she would be legally blind in that case.
Okay.
But she puts glasses on, she's 20/20. So she's not legally blind.
Caller, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Do you have any other questions? We'll try to answer anything that we can here while you're on the phone.
Well, it is a bad situation for us, and there are many people that like I was fortunate in a way, and I got a job, and I retired from it. But there are other people that have their problems with it, and they develop cataracts, and they lose the vision in that one eye or the other, and they turn right around, and they're not getting any benefits legally, but yet by definition we're not legally blind, so we cannot claim the blind status on our IRS refunds. This is what we need, is the blind organizations to get behind us and help us to get the law changed to include, because otherwise physically I look fine, but nobody's helping us either. So you're missing one group of people, and it's a significant group of people, because there was the New York Jets had a guy with only one eye, and he was a receiver. But I had to break the way for him because I had to fight to get the right to play football from my parents, from the state of California, and in this school district. I was the leader. I fought for in 1984. The United States government turned right around and said that the United States Postal Service, for one, can now hire people with only one eye, because, like in my case, but I couldn't drive left-hand drive vehicles, but I could drive right-hand drive.
Yeah.
We need the help of the blind societies, and nobody wants to help us. So there's something for you to work on.
Well, thank you.
I'm sorry about your daughter. I really am.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you. We appreciate it. And yeah, we'll do and it's just remember, as I said, if you're 55 and over, I do have funding that I get that's federal funds. It's not a lot, unfortunately, but all the definition is you don't have to be legally blind. If your lack of vision has affected your life, your lifestyle, then you qualify for us to be able to give you some assistive technology training, for some independent living training. Yeah, various types of training.
So that gentleman qualifies for any of your programs if he's over 55. He doesn't have to be legally blind.
That's correct.
Okay, that's good to know. So caller, I hope you heard that just now on the air. You don't have to be legally blind, and over 55 if you're that. Ken can help you down at his center, and give the phone number out if you could, please.
At the center is our local area code 559, and it's 222-4447.
Okay, and you're located where?
We are in Fresno at the corner of Shaw and Valentine, right behind the Bank of America.
Brand new building, right?
It's not a brand new building, but it's brand new
remodel.
Brand
new for you.
Brand new for us.
That's
yes,
right.
We're
so
very
you moved
proud
in there
of it.
when? Just
we still haven't had our open house debut. So we actually moved in last August while we underwent some renovations, because we couldn't afford to be paying rent in two locations at the same time.
Yeah.
So
well, let us know when the open house is.
May 20th coming up.
Oh, it is
May 20th.
What time?
It is from 4 to 8.
4 to 8
on May 20th.
Okay, we'll have to keep that in mind. 436-ME-TV option 11 if you have any questions. If you have bad eyesight, you don't have to be legally blind. If you have bad eyesight, for goodness sakes, call in and ask a question for Ken here. Maybe he can help you out, or call the Valley Center for the Blind once this program is over. 436-ME-TV option 11. Got about another half hour to go here on the program. Back in just a moment.
Frigidaire. It means the first electric refrigerator, the first compact electric range. Now, there's the Frigidaire Gallery Range with Symmetry double ovens. It's designed to cook multiple dishes at multiple temperatures, so you can prepare the entire meal at the same time. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Not sure what you're watching? Want to see what's coming up next? Or just want to browse what's on without the hassle of flipping channels? Your wish has come true. Now you can view schedules for all the digital TV channels available in the Central Valley. Get local weather updates and forecasts, and listen to nationally syndicated Biz Talk Radio, all on KVHF 4.1. Rescan your TV now, then tune in to Digital Channel 4.1 to start enjoying the all-new TV Guide.
Back here on the program, Ken, let me ask you, because I asked you this at the beginning of the program, how did you get this place? Well, no, let me start with this question. Why did the Valley Center for the Blind nearly go bankrupt 4 or 5 years ago?
Well, you know,
what
John,
happened?
I wasn't there beforehand, but all I
Okay.
know is when I came on board.
What did you see? What did you find? And did you look at the paperwork and go, "Oh my God, how did we get to this stage?"
Yeah, we came. You know, I entered the building with my wife. You know, after Shayla had come out of the hospital, we were told that we needed to go to Valley Center for the Blind and start receiving services, and where Shayla would receive some training. And my wife and I took her for a summer camp that we were invited to, and there were really only 2 kids participating, my daughter and another young man. And, I went in and the carpets were torn and there were boxes everywhere. The walls were part paneling and they were just, they hadn't, there were scratches and dents. That it was just very dark and dismal. It wasn't well lit, and it's just not what I expected. I expected a more professional setting, something that I would feel good about leaving my child here. She was 16 at the time.
Okay.
And so I'd been in business most of my life in the automotive accessory business, and so I'd built that business for over 25 years. And so I felt I could take some of the things that I learned along the way and apply them here. And so I was invited to join the board, which I accepted, and the financials just didn't make sense. There were a lot of expenses that seemed out of whack with the amount of income, and the amount of income seemed very unsteady. And so I do what I do. I'm a fixer. I like to fix things, and so I asked to get involved with the financing and started digging around. And well, the executive director at the time was having some health issues, and he had to step down, and I wasn't back to work because I had taken time to help Shayla sort of reacclimate to life. And next thing I know it, I'm the executive director.
Without batting an eye, you just all of a sudden you find yourself in the hot seat.
Right, yeah.
So you found everything out of whack financially. How did you fix it?
Well,
is it basic simple math?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was.
Don't spend more than what's coming in.
Exactly. You got to balance things out. And
how did you do that though? And how long did it take?
I cut a lot. I'd actually the day that I accepted the interim position as executive director, PG&E had offered me a full-time job, and I had 6 weeks before their training started, and so. Okay. I was torn about making this decision to be the director or give up a very well-paying job for my family. But that job would have required a strong commitment, which meant I wouldn't have been available for my daughter. And there were doctor appointments like 3-4 a week, taking her to school. A young girl at that age losing your sight, trying to go back to school. I mean, that's no easy task. And just the emotional support. It probably wasn't more than a day or two that I wouldn't have to come to the school just to kind of give her a hug and let her know that we're going to get through this and it's okay, and so a good friend of mine who's very successful in business, I went and talked to him, and I go, Mark, 6 weeks, I got to make a decision. He goes, that's plenty of time. And I'm like, what? 6 weeks? You can turn? He goes, yes, 6 weeks is plenty of time to find out whether this business can be turned around. And so that probably just gave me the confidence that I needed. So I went in, I started examining the books, I looked at every expense, every source of income, saw all kinds of areas that could be improved, and started making those changes. Wasn't very popular at first because, change is difficult when you go into an organization that's been going through the same motions for multiple years, and some schmuck like me comes along and says, okay, we're not going to do it this way anymore. And
did you have to lay people off?
You know, I didn't.
Okay.
I had to adjust some pay, and nobody likes their pay to be cut. Some people were getting a little more than the agency could afford. Not saying they didn't deserve it, just a little more than we could afford to pay, and had to cut some hours for times that were dormant, where we were paying staff just to kind of be there. Things that just didn't make sense until we could get things turned around.
Yeah, and how did the staff accept that?
Some were thrilled because they knew we were on the brink of, there was going to be nothing. Some of these staff people went without pay for months when the agency couldn't afford to pay them. And so they saw hope of some stability. And if nothing else, that's what I hope I did, is I hoped orchestrate some stability for these people, because as I mentioned, most of them are blind.
All right, let's roll another piece of videotape. It's called Transport Assistance. Now, you help people with transportation if they want to become independent and ride the bus, for example, or take a taxi. And talk a little bit about that. We got a couple of minutes here before we got to go to break. Go ahead.
Well, one of the biggest challenges for a blind person is getting from point A to point B. We all take for granted, well, not all, that was a generalized statement, but we take for granted, you know, being able to take our keys out of our pocket and start our car and get where we need to get. But for a blind person, you have to rely on somebody or someone to take you where you want to or need to go.
I see somebody with a white cane there, and tell us the purpose of that white cane and how that helps that blind person. What does that white cane represent, and how does it help?
That white cane becomes the eyes of a blind person. They learn to read the area, and forgive me if I'm using the incorrect lingo, because I'm sure that there's a few blind listeners there that may say, well, no, that's not right, we do it because of this. And so there's a myriad of reasons, but mainly that white cane lets the person know what's directly ahead of them so that they can get from point A to point B safely. And it's amazing to see and the skills that they develop and how much they can tell. You know, you see a blind person walking towards a pole with their cane, and it's our human nature to want to holler out and say, watch out, there's a pole. But you know what? That cane's going to find that pole, and chances are they're not going to bump into it. Not to say it's never happened.
So you can teach somebody to become independent enough to ride the bus system here in Fresno.
Absolutely, yes.
How do you do that?
Well, we first of all, they go through what we call O&M training, which is short for orientation and mobility, and we have certified instructors who are trained to take a blind person and listen to use their ears the way that we use our eyes. And I have gone under blindfold and gone out on a street, on a road with the cane, and it's amazing that after about 15 or 20 minutes of not having your eyesight, how keen you start listening to the sounds around you, to be able to hear the traffic and the way that it's flowing, and to hear the surroundings, to hear the buildings. And it's amazing what our ears pick up that we don't need to hear when we have our eyesight. So
that's how you do it.
Yeah.
And how long does that training take for someone to become totally comfortable? Like, let's say they want to cross the street. Crossing the street at, say, let's pick a Sean Blackstone, one of the busiest intersections around. How do you teach somebody to cross that street and know when the light's green and know when to go?
Well, again, through these trainers, and the trainer will not allow somebody to go or not recommend somebody to go on their own until they are fully comfortable that they can do it safely. Because we can train a person all day long to give them all of the skill sets they need, but we cannot train the other drivers to be paying attention. And that's the key thing or the key thing is that when you're, you know, like in my personal example, you know, I live near Palm and Shaw. Okay. And that's also a challenging intersection.
Yeah, it is.
And the city has not had the funding to be able to make the signal lights audible. So, you know, you hear that sometimes what some people feel is annoying chirping or thing, but those audible signals for somebody who can't see to know.
Valuable.
Right, to know when it's safe to cross. So for me, a father watching your baby, your kid, cross a street like that independently, it's a little unnerving because I know she's got the skills, but a lot of the drivers don't understand what to do, and sometimes they'll honk, Well, a blind person doesn't know what you're doing when you're honking. They don't know whether you're telling them, get out of the way, watch out. Honking doesn't do any good, you know. And sometimes people will stop the car and wave them on. And they mean good, but a blind person can't see you waving them on to cross in front of them. They're trained, if they are going to cross a driveway, to stop until the car is gone. So,
how does your daughter navigate and get to school?
She'll either take Handy Ride, which is the fax, those buses that you see, fax, and so you can become a member of Handy Ride and get a call that way, or get a call to get a ride that way, and that's earlier on the video. That's what you saw.
Okay.
Handy Ride bus picking up a client, and she can also take the city bus. She often takes the bus home because she doesn't have to cross the city bus.
Really?
The regular city bus. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And
she navigates around campus, okay?
Yeah, pretty much. Fresno State's awesome. They've got a great system that there's security guards that drive around in the little like golf cart type vehicles.
Yeah.
They will arrange to pick her up from one class and take her to another if she needs that. If she's close and she can get there on her own, then that's fine. But otherwise, they're called scouts, and the scout will pick her up at the proper time and get her to her next class. For someone like Shayla that's totally blind. Yeah, Fresno State's been awesome.
All right, so you do teach people how to manage to get around on their own. They don't need to call a taxi. They don't need to, call a friend for a ride. They can totally do this on their own and be independent. We do have another caller here. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Ken, I want to commend you very much as a father, what you've gone through with your daughter and everything, and people like you are, oh man, special people anyway.
Thank you.
I hearing your story and hearing what you've done in your life is commendable. Not many would do that, take time off and be with the daughter, and it's a blessing, number one. I get emotional because I'm a father, and what you went through,
Absolutely.
Like I say, you're a very special man, a father especially, and you have your daughter, and maybe with a disability, but deep down, my man, I want to tell you one thing. You are to be commended, and the Lord is in a different way has been blessing you, but I commend you. That's all I want to say.
Thank you very much for the call.
Very nice call. Thank you.
Yeah, you did turn down a job with PG&E that would have paid you probably a lot of money.
Yeah.
Probably a good retirement. Okay, like we were talking about the Fresno County supervisors earlier. But you decided to spend more family time and help your daughter out. Probably take a big cut in pay, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, there was no pay in the beginning.
No pay in the beginning.
That's one of the reasons that the center was struggling, because they didn't have enough money to pay an executive director.
I hope you're getting something now.
I am. It's not near what I would be making with PG&E, but you know what? Yeah. It's not about the money.
It's more gratifying, I'm sure.
Right, and in a way, this was healing for myself and my family, because when I'm surrounded with other blind people, and to see what they can do, it helps me as a father. It takes a little bit of the sting away when I see, what my daughter has to go through.
And I'm sure your daughter appreciates it too.
Absolutely, she does, and she lets me know that regularly. But not only am I helping myself and helping my daughter, but now it's like a ministry. I can help others, and there is no more fulfillment I think a job could give you. I've had that discussion many times.
Yeah.
It's not about how much money I make. It's about the lives that I can affect, and we kind of like to think that we give hope to the hopeless.
Well, when you're 80, 90 years old, maybe your daughter won't kick you to the curb then. She won't put you in the old folks home.
Oh,
she'll take care of you. She'll take care of you then, right?
If I'm ornery enough, I think she'll do it.
Well, she might. Well, I'm ornery enough. I can imagine my kids might do the same thing. So we don't know until we reach that stage, right? Anyway, 436 Me TV, option 11, Valley Center for the Blind. A lot more to talk about here on the program. Call in. Back in just a moment.
You can find movies on over-the-air channel 13.3.
The new Frigidaire Professional line at Ventura TV Video Appliance. Enjoy generous-sized cooktops and sauté or simmer with ease, while true convection ovens offer even baking and juicy roasting perfection. Foods stay their freshest in spacious refrigerators with convenient controls and clear filtered ice and water. Easy to clean surfaces reduce fingerprints, and the quietest of dishwashers makes cleanup a snap. The new Frigidaire Professional line at Ventura TV Video Appliance.
Back here on the program with Ken Warkentin, and he is the Executive Director of the Valley Center for the Blind. We talked a lot about the technology, and we showed the videotape. We talked about transportation. Just one more thing about the technology. It's not only the computers. I mentioned in the monologue, it was smartphones, all these smart devices, you name it. It doesn't have to be Apple products. It can be Samsung. It can be anything.
Right.
So is there a special app on there for specifically designed so the blind could actually use a smartphone?
Yes, and it when I started, it was very expensive software that you had to purchase to put on a phone. But
Okay.
here's where I'll go kudos to Apple, because when they came out with the iPhone, they built in what's called VoiceOver. And VoiceOver has...
Does my phone have that?
It does. Every phone
Really?
has it.
Really?
You know, it's something you want to be careful when you set it up, because if you turn it on and don't know how to turn it off, it gets a little frustrating.
Is that when you send voice text?
No.
Oh,
but
okay. What is
do you want
that?
me to demonstrate real quick here?
Yeah. Can you?
So I have it set up so I can turn my accessibility on with 3 clicks of the home button.
Okay. And so.
And you'll hear it kick on here in a minute.
All right. And what will it do?
Up here.
What will it do?
Okay, so
Google Maps.
So it
weather. Hanging Dice World.
So
hanging free. One new Zingle Poker.
So if
Put that up close to the microphone.
Google Maps.
Okay.
Google
so
Maps. Doc. Messages. One unread message.
See, I have an unread
Okay.
message. It tells me.
Okay.
And then
Okay. That's excellent.
I would
Okay.
Fresh deck.
I would double click.
Well, actually, you need to put that close to the microphone so they could hear it.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
And
yeah.
so, and a blind person, like if I triple tap the screen,
you can put it up really close.
it turns my screen curtain on, so you can't see it, but it's still
Zingle
on.
Poker. Fresh deck. Sleep cycle.
Okay, those are my
Evernote.
apps it's reading to me.
Facebook.
Wow.
Two
So
new
those are
messenger.
all for the valleys. Those are all for
Facebook,
people
2 new items.
who have eyesight problems, can't see the phone that well, or can't see the phone at all.
Correct.
That's amazing.
This is the lifeblood. This is how my daughter connects
Hang on, caller.
onto Facebook, to be able to be a kid, to be able to communicate with her friends. She emails through it, she texts through it, she records through it. There's so many apps on here. It can
Wow.
be your GPS. It could let her know what street she's on, what bus she's
that
coming.
comes standard with the phone?
That is standard on every iPhone. And actually, you know, I'm not an Android user, but Android also has that technology, and I'm sure they did that to keep up. But this
Yeah.
has been such a game changer in the blind community, and
Wow.
this type of technology.
Yeah. Hey, think what you want to. I don't know if you saw the movie Steve Jobs, but he did one heck of a job with Apple, and he has changed the lives of many people, for the better. There's
Absolutely.
no question about it. So, caller, you're on the air with Ken Warkentin. Go ahead.
Hi, my question is, what about some of the people getting dogs for the blind? Are there any of them that get that privilege?
Yes, it is an application process. So first of all, earlier I talked about the O&M training, orientation and mobility, and if you are successful at reaching the level of orientation and mobility that is required, then you can apply to, and there are schools throughout the United States. You can apply to these schools for a guide dog, and if you qualify, most of these organizations that train these dogs, there is no cost to the consumer. And so for my daughter, she's going to in San Rafael, Guide Dogs for the Blind, and there will be no cost to her. But she did have to undergo a couple of years of pretty intensive orientation and mobility training in order to receive that.
Right. Any other questions, caller? Go ahead.
No, I was just curious because the high school in our town raises guide dogs for the blind, and they as puppies, and then they go away at about 18 months.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. The puppy raiser program. We've got a few of them here in this area, in the Fresno area, and yeah, what these kids, usually kids, they're not always
Where
kids
they
that train them.
These dogs?
Well, that's what they start. These dogs are.
They start them as puppies, huh?
They're even before that. This system, boy, if you ever get a chance to tour Guide Dogs for the Blind in San Rafael, it'll blow you away. They've got this process down to a science as far as the type of dogs. But these dogs have a value of nearly $50,000 to $60,000 a piece.
Wow. That is amazing.
That's how much training goes into these dogs.
Yeah, and I imagine there are a lot of people that breed these dogs for money too. I would imagine.
Well, they can't, because they all are property. Even since a pup, they're the property of the school.
I see.
And then they're loaned to the puppy raisers, and then they're returned if they pass all of the rigorous testing.
Quickly, a lot more to talk about here in such short time. Do you partner with the SPCA?
I do not. No.
Okay. All right. Just thought I'd ask.
Yeah,
just a question that came up.
Great organization, though.
Yeah, they've been here many times before. Let me ask you something. Okay, I got a list of things here, and I want you to explain this. You help people organize their meds. You help them identify the bottles. Like I'm on blood pressure medication. I take blood thinners. Heaven forbid if I ever lost my sight, how would I identify all of those medications? How do you help people identify the bottles, the medications? You teach them to cook, to clean, how to use Braille. How do you teach them all of these things at the center? How?
Well, we have several instructors that are blind themselves, and so they demonstrate. There's ways to...
How do you organize a pill? I mean, I take 3 or 4 different pills a day because of the heart condition that I have.
Right.
So how does a blind person... I mean, pills come in all different colors, shapes, sizes. How do you know the difference if you're blind?
Right. You feel like, so my daughter, first of all, she's got her different medication bottles.
Right.
And then she'll organize them or make them what we call tactile. She'll either put a label, a Braille label on it, or she'll put a rubber band around it. It really depends on your level of sight loss and your ability. So our instructor will first assess the person. If this is a senior who's maybe in a home, or in an assisted living facility, and they want it, but they're still taking care of their own medication daily, we will teach them how to keep them like the proper type of pill organizer to keep it in, and then get them used to maybe the feel. Sometimes the pills will have different feel, and if for Shayla, if her pills are combined, like loose, then yeah, she'll carefully feel the difference between them, and then if she's not sure, they must ask. They have to realize how important it is to ask somebody.
You can't take a double dose of something, or take the wrong medication at the wrong time.
Right.
It can be deadly.
But what I talked about before is if they're a smartphone user, there's actually apps on the phone. They can take a picture of that pill, and it'll tell them what that pill is.
It will.
Yes.
That is amazing. Another Apple.
Well, the app is probably a different developer, but it's on either an Android.
But it's on Apple or Android or any of these. So how to clean is fairly simple. I mean, you pick up a vacuum cleaner. Okay, you can just vacuum in areas, and you kind of know the furniture and how it's situated in your house. Patterns and all that. You know how to you know where the furniture is. You can dust.
Right.
That's fairly safe.
Yes.
Okay, for the most part. Not every situation. You have to be very careful you don't bump your head or do all kinds of things that you might get hurt. But how do you teach someone to cook? Because you can get burned, you can burn the house down, you can be severely injured. How do you teach somebody how to cook safely?
Again, it's on the level of comfort, and the level of sight loss. So we teach a lot of contrast for people who are low vision. Age-related macular degeneration is becoming more common as our baby boomers age, and so not seeing things quite so clearly. Again, learning how to identify your foods, understand audibly how to do things. So we a lot of our programs, whether they're using a smartphone or a recording device to have their recipes, to be able to hear how to measure things out by feel rather than by sight.
I want to roll a piece of videotape called Get Together, and it's very important to get down there and socialize with others. This is part of going to the Valley Center for the Blind, right? Because you have a marriage and family therapist, you have individual counseling classes, how to deal with blindness, These are the people here socializing at the club. And so how important is this, to socialize with others that are blind?
It's huge. Again, it's just being with other people who are going through the same challenge is extremely comforting, like I mentioned before. And
there's a men's group, there's a women's group,
yep.
There are prayer groups, activity classes. We're looking at one of them here.
Yeah, this is our Monday Bible study. This group of people gets together and they discuss different philosophies on the Bible. It's just one of many groups that we have, and they have a great time.
Are these services free of charge to the blind?
Absolutely.
They are. There's no pay. Okay, and you can come in and do just about anything. I mean, you can, if you need counseling, you got it. If you need to talk to somebody, you've got it. How do you teach somebody who has never been blind and suddenly, like your daughter, they find themselves in that situation and they have to learn Braille? And it's the old Braille system, right?
Yeah, Braille is a very useful tool to be able to read, with your touch rather than with your eyes. And if a person wants to teach Braille, there's a very methodical process that can teach them that.
Hold that device up that you have right there. What's that called?
This is a Quest. This is a device that my daughter uses.
It's a bar scanner, right?
It is, yeah. It's a bar scanner.
What can you do with that? Really quick. We got about 2 minutes left.
This here is if she wants to go to the pantry, if she's home alone and decides she's going to make herself a meal, and she grabs a can, and of course all the soups, feel the same, or the boxes feel the same. So she'll scan the barcode. She'll feel it around until it finally recognizes the barcode, and then that information will audibly read her all the ingredients, all the nutritional value, basically everything she wants to know. And what it is.
Let me have that device just for a minute there, Ken. I'll hold it up on my camera right here. This is the device right here. It's called a barcode scanner for any blind person. I want to roll one more piece of videotape. It's called Wheelchair. We'll run that really quick here. And we'll talk about services for those who are in a wheelchair. Got about 1 minute left, Ken. You're located at Shaw and Valentine. How do you help people in wheelchairs? I mean, it's kind of a double whammy. You can't walk, you're in a wheelchair, and you're blind. How do you help those people?
Well, and again, it depends on their level of sight loss. This gentleman on the screen here is visually impaired. He's not totally blind.
Okay.
And so he is able to navigate his scooter on his own. But we do have some clients who are totally blind and in wheelchairs, and they will usually have an assistant helping them.
Well, you do a great service down there. Shaw and Valentine, services are free. Phone number is what again?
Is area code 559. I'm sorry. That's right. 559.
Yeah.
222-4447.
222-4447. All right. You do great work out there and continued success. And if you need anything, give us a call. 436-MEET-TV option 11 if you want to leave a message. And, we didn't put the disclaimer up, but Ken came here of his own free will. We try to help businesses every Tuesday here, if we can, on Connect with Me. Ken, thank you for your time.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it, and it was great getting to share our story.
Yeah, come back again. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it very much. Good luck to you and your daughter.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you tomorrow with Dennis Hart. We'll talk about Super Tuesday. Have a great day, everybody.
When you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Take a look at this. Let's play. This is too hip for you. I'll slow down.